I'm taking the Libertarian Purity Test by Brian Caplan, who I believe is an anarcho-capitalist. Are taxes too high? Yes, income tax is theft. In all honesty, no one is entitled to the fruits of your labor except for yourself. Is government spending too high? Yes, anything but a balanced budget is way too high. Are we overregulated? Yes. When little kids can't have lemonade stands by themselves, we are overregulated. Are you for free trade? Yes and no. I believe we should not have free trade with currency manipulators, including the United States of America and China. As long as the government can indiscriminately set interest rates, I believe there's a problem. Should the minimum wage be abolished? Yes, reservedly. I believe in a truly free market, the minimum wage should not exist. I also believe that people, if they want to work over the minimum wage, should. Should rent control be abolished? No. Rent control is just regulation of rent, which I believe is proper. But I'm severely on the fence about that. Comment if you disagree with me and can change my mind, or comment if you want to bring me closer to not abolishing rent control. Are zoning laws too strict? I don't know anything about zoning laws, but looking at the current state of our oppressive government, I'm going to assume so. I'm going to especially say yes because many communities have laws against multi-use buildings. Do we spend too much on Medicare? Yes, Medicare is not a federal power. Do we spend too much on Social Security? Again, yes. Why force people to pay into a system that they don't always get back from? That's just called an initiation of force. Like I said, once you have the hammer, all you need is a sickle. Should we privatize the post office? Yes, even though that's a power granted to government under the Constitution, I believe, under the enumerated powers. We should privatize the post office as they are constantly losing money and there are better public or private sector options. Would school vouchers be an improvement over government schools? Yes, this gives parents school choice. I do agree, however, that this can cause the state to run education if they can only say where you can send vouchers to. But if this can be proven to saying, hey, give them X amount of money compared to what you'd normally give the school, I'm for that. Should we relax immigration laws? Yes, I do believe, except for in terms of security. But I believe that the person should be able to sell their labor in a free market, except I would like to cut welfare and all of that before we do that, because I don't believe you should just come here to live off the government teat. Would housing vouchers be an improvement over government housing? Yes, this would stimulate the private sector, which I do know creates an artificial demand for housing, but I believe that bubble will burst soon anyway, given our current history, so I don't believe we can actually do much to stop that. So maybe also we could cut the government department of HUD a lot with housing vouchers, and plus we can give that to those who need it, and maybe they could pull together if they really need it badly. Should the government sell off more of the public lands? Yes, especially for industries like energy that would greatly appreciate those lands. Are worker safety regulations too strict? This is a tough one. I believe if you set the regulations too low, there won't be any workers left to work. So I'm going to say no. Does drug approval take too long? Yes, just label it experimental or not approved yet and sell it. People can decide how they want. Do you think we spend too much on anti-poverty programs? Yes, the war on poverty will never be won and is artificial. Is occupational licensing for doctors, plumbers, and other professions too strict? Yes, I don't think you need a license to be a plumber. I think you should sell that. However, for doctors, I do agree with our current system and pharmacists and things of that sort. Does the government spend too much on higher education? Yes, as long as we keep creating an artificial demand for gender studies degrees, we won't have any real progress come out from higher education spending. However, if someone can prove that they would be a benefit to society, I'd be for giving grants, but not loans, because loans just create this giant cluster of student debt problems that we will never escape from. Does the Federal Reserve have too much discretionary power? Yes. There's an unelected group of bureaucrats setting our interest rates and monetary policies. Why is that a thing? Should marijuana be legalized? Yes, for obvious reasons. Should all sex between consenting adults be legal, even for money? Yes. The government does not have the right to say what you put in your body, including genitalia. Do you believe in freedom of expression for books, newspapers, radio, television, the internet, and so on, even for inoffensive and unpopular views and subject matters? Oh, hell yes. Should private clubs have sole authority to select their own members, even if they're discriminatory? Yes, the government has no right to say who you let into your private property. That would be criminal trespass. Are you against national service? No, I'm not against joining the military. Are you against the draft? I am. That's forcibly entering into a involuntary association by the government with their monopoly on force. Does the U.S. intervene too much in other countries? Oh, hell yes. Look at Georgia. This is not a direct military intervention, but when they wouldn't join our committee on election interference, we sabotaged we hacked into their voting records as a threat. Should the military budget be cut? Oh, hell yes. We have too many bases in too many countries. There's a good Ron Paul thing on PolitiFact from a couple years ago where I think he said that we have bases in like 90 countries. Should the U.S. refuse to pay for the defense of allies that are rich enough to defend themselves? Oh, hell yes. Europe can have its own damn military. If it has to fight a war, should the U.S. try harder to avoid civilian targets? Yes. Human life is human life. Should taxes be cut by 50% or more? Yes. Income tax is theft. Should spending be cut by 50% or more? Oh, hell yes. Would you abolish at least half of existing federal regulatory agencies? Yes. DA, ATF, many more I can't think of off the top of my head. Should we abolish antitrust laws? No, but I do think that they should be loosened. I believe that monopolies are not actually a free market as long as they can keep their consolidated power. Should we abolish public schools and universities? No, they provide a great service, but I do believe that they should be state-led, not federal government. Should we abolish welfare? Oh, yes. But we should have a system in place to replace it. That might ever be job training, incentivizing businesses to hire those that are out of work. But I do definitely believe that we should abolish it at the federal level. However, I'm going to say this again, laboratory of democracies, states have the right to do as they wish. Should we abolish Social Security? Oh, hell yes. Not a federal power. And like I said, you just force people to pay into something they don't get anything out of. It's the government initiation of force. Should we abolish Medicare? Oh, yes. It's not a federal power. Again, laboratory of democracy. Should all of the public lands be privatized? No. There are private lands. Public lands are necessary for government organization and running. Should we privatize sanitation, fire, and other local services? As long as this means everything but police, I agree. Should immigration laws be abolished? No. As long as there's a welfare state, there should be immigration laws. But once that is abolished, I would agree with allowing people to sell their labor on the market, except for in cases of crisis, they should be vetted. Should the FDA and medical licensing be abolished? No, but I don't think they should restrict as much. They should be like, this may be harmful to you. That's all I need to do. Should all Federal Reserve's discretionary powers be eliminated and the monetary base frozen? I'm going to look at what monetary base is real quick. Yes, the monetary base should be abolished. We should go back to the gold standard. The monetary base is just liquid currency, like dollars and private or public mints. We should allow the gold standard back again. Should we abolish worker safety regulations? No, that would be harming the populace way too much. I'm not a complete anarchist. Should the Supreme Court strike down economic regulation as unconstitutional? In most cases, like 90%, yes. The only laws that should be are actual interstate commerce, like selling things between states, or safety. Should all drugs be legalized for all adults? Yes. Should anti-discrimination laws be abolished? Yes. There is no federal precedent for that. And states, if people want to do as they wish, let them, as long as they don't violate the NAP. Not 75%. I would argue for a large cut, though. Should the U.S. withdraw completely from Europe, Asia, and other foreign bases? No. As long as we have allies in those countries, we should have bases in potential hot zones. Is bombing civilians in any enemy country morally equivalent to murder? Yes, but sometimes in times of war, you might have some casualties, but try our best to avoid those. Should all taxes be abolished? No. Sales and property are a choice. Buying things and property are a choice, along with but the payroll tax, the income tax, estate tax, those all should be abolished. Should highways and roads be privatized? Everything but interstate highways, as that would be interstate commerce. I would love to see, and they are originally meant for the military, actually, and post office. Should the Fed be abolished and replaced with free banking and privately issued money? Yes. I don't believe that we need a national mandatory currency. Should all legislation be replaced by judge-made law, arbitration, and other private rule suppliers? No. Law and order should be sometimes legislated. Is all government inherently evil? Yes, people are inherently evil. Is government an inherent unnecessary evil? Yes. Should police be privatized? No, their job is way too important. Again, I said it earlier that the fire department and other local services should be privatized. I should have qualified with saying everything but fire department. Should the courts be privatized? No. Again, law and order. Should the law itself be privatized? Oh no. Should the state be disarmed and its military disbanded? I would love to see the day when anarcho-capitalism came to pass, if it came under the right circumstances, but I don't believe we'll ever achieve those circumstances. Is it morally permissible to exercise vigilante justice even against government leaders? I'm going to say morally permissible, yes. Legally permissible, no. We shouldn't have laws that allow this vigilante justice, even if it's the right thing to do. We can't just go around killing people, but in the end, sometimes is it the right thing? Is it morally permissible? Maybe. Is all government essentially exploitation of the productive members of society for the benefit of a parasitic ruling elite? Yes. So where do you think the tax money goes to? Checks in Washington. Should the state be abolished? No. Would you call yourself an anarcho-capitalist? In theory, yes. I would love to see it, but I am not. So let's score this test. I got a 98. I got a higher score last time, but a 98 is pretty good. Entered the heady realm of hardcore libertarianism. Now, it doesn't make you feel worse that you didn't get a perfect score. Yes. Alright, guys, this is Local Libertarian, and I am signing off.